Hello, everybody. Today is Tuesday, and I am exhausted. My husband went back to regular work yesterday instead of just working on the house. His vacation is over, and we have stopped working on the house like mad people. Although, I mean, we're still working on it like crazy, but not from like 8 o'clock in the morning to like 9 o'clock at night now. It's pretty much depending on what's going on that week, well, that day, depends on if after he's done working, if we go down. I was supposed to have Vincent, but his other aunt wanted to see him, so he got to go there. He is officially potty training. He's actually doing really, really well, which is really neat to see. My husband had his family reunion this weekend, and that was fun. Got to meet people, and all kinds of stuff. People that live out of state and things like that. It's not always, even though my husband and I have been together for a pretty freaking long time, I still haven't met all of his family yet. So that's crazy. We went and saw Grandma Joanne over the weekend. She perks up while we're there, but I'm just worried about her. And I'm hoping, she's in a little bit of pain, and I think that's that, and she's always been a very independent person, and she's coming to terms with the fact, she's realizing that she really can't do some of the stuff that she used to be able to do, and she's getting very frustrated with it because she feels like my husband and I are very busy and she doesn't want to bother us, and it's like, I don't care what I have going on. Bug me. If you need something, call me. I will do it. I don't care. She's worried that she'll become a pain in our butt, essentially. And I'm just like, no, not at all. Like, I love you. Let me help and take care of you. It's not that big of a deal to me. I'd rather you call me and say you need help than do it yourself and get hurt. One, two. Anyways, I was debating on if I was going to put out a video this week. And I decided, nope, I made a commitment to put out a video every single week, and I want to make sure that I put out a video every single week. And sometimes I feel like I bite off more than I can chew. But I was originally going to do a video of me showing you guys how I frame my pieces. But I haven't went and I use plexiglass in my pieces because I want to spend less money, not more money, and it's already expensive enough framing your pieces. And I like mine, like I said, it doesn't have to be, plexiglass works for me, but I would like my stitched area that I've stitched to be protected from dust and dirt and grime. So you kind of need that covering, and I don't want to pay for glass that is going to be 4 or 5 times the price of what I can get with just plexiglass. I don't really care about the glare because it's going to be inside my home or my friend's house, and there's regular glass on all of our picture frames and things like that, so I'm not too concerned about it. And some people may want their projects to last for hundreds of years, or 100 years, or however long. I am fine with the pieces that I've done to not last forever. It's not something that I don't want to say like my kids don't care or they won't want something after I pass or things like that. But I just feel like this is more so just a hobby of mine to help me relax, to enjoy something, to create something, not necessarily to last forever. Now, my paintings that I do, those are all sealed a little differently. Those are actually meant to, those are protected and those are made like whenever I do them, whenever I put their varnish and things like that, it has the, what is it, UVL protection and UV protection, and they're all made with archival and reversible varnish and all the things that I think are important. So that way if at some point in time somebody wanted to take my paintings to a conservator, they can take it to a conservator because it's all using professional paints and all the important things, so they can be preserved for a very, very long time versus my cross stitching. It's not that I don't care about it. Like, I love to do this. This is something that I extremely enjoy, clearly, and it's not that I don't care. It's just that I just want to satisfy me, and with how many that I do, there's no way I would ever be able to afford to frame every single one. It's not going to be possible. So I will just frame them essentially kind of cheaply. Now, I will say that I do use the acid-free foam core. To pin my work to, I do use the stainless steel pins, and like I said, I just don't use the museum glass or things like that that will help prevent, you know, fading and things like that. But I don't want my pieces to get like there's been people that have used like cardboard or things that are not, you know, acid-free archival material and have stuck their cross-stitching stuff to it because I've seen it from a couple of like my grandmother's pieces that were done way back in like the 80s, I want to say, at least the 80s into the 70s, somewhere around there. My great-grandmother, I've seen some of her pieces, and those were done somewhere around, she was born 1917, and she did most of her cross-stitching in her teens, and, well, starting in her teens, so somewhere in 1920s to 1930s, where some of those have started, and they didn't use a lot of, like, archival things, and, hold on, let me count here. I believe it's right there. 1, 2, yep. And I've seen what happens if you it was very common for like my great grandmother to use materials they had on hand. This is supposed to be a 2, not a 5, Brittany. And I've seen the effects of what some of her work looks like, and a lot of it is severely deteriorated and or has essentially stains on it that there's probably no way we would ever be able to get them out. And the pieces are they're sort of ruined, but you can still enjoy them even though that they're not in pristine condition. And some of my grandmother's pieces that I would want to say that they were probably done in the 70s and the 80s. She had also used cardboard to mount some of her pieces with, along with some sort of adhesive, and there was no sort of glass or plexiglass or anything like that around, you know, the ones that she did frame, and she was a heavy smoker, so they are kind of stained pretty badly with nicotine, and because of the glue that she used to essentially glue it to the cardboard so that way she could put it into the frame, the glue has broken down completely, and it's I wish I had some of these pieces to show you, but I don't. A lot of my aunts have them, but the glue has broken down and it's no longer holding that piece there anymore, so it's all kinds of really wonky. And then on top of that, the glue that they had used isn't an archival glue, so it stained the face of the piece again very badly. So the combination between the cardboard that isn't archival at all and the glue and the cardboard have ruined some of these pieces to the point where there's no return for them. But there were a couple that we were able to save. And but like I said, a lot of them were irreparable and we had to toss them out. And I mean, it didn't really... I mean, would I have liked to have some of their pieces? Yes, but it's not the end of the world that I don't have any, and that, you know, it's not like because it wasn't mounted and things like that correctly to protect it for, you know, the next whatever many years. It's not like I don't want to say I'm not devastated, because part of me, like, my heart hurts a little bit because, you know, of course I would want something of theirs in my home. But at the same time, I know that's kind of, if they wanted somebody to have something, they would have given it to them. So I just feel like it's not like it was, I don't want to say it's not that important, but they're, you know, it was just, they worked with what they had and they did what they did. And I'm not completely disappointed that I don't have them, even though, you know, I would have liked to have one. So it's not like the end of the world to me that I didn't get one. And I just feel like with my projects and stuff, I'm not really stitching anything for anybody, so that way it lasts hundreds upon millions of years. But I do try to, that if anything is actually touching the piece, to make sure that those things are actually archival, and that, you know, if somebody would actually want to protect it even more later on down the line, that the piece isn't absolutely, completely, and utterly destroyed. So they still have that option if they want to. And that's that. But anyways, my point is that I was working on showing you guys how I frame a piece when I'm done with it, the Raven Queen, obviously. And I just sort of run out of steam. I am tired. I'm starting to wonder if, like, I might be starting to come down with, like, some sort of cold or something, but the same time, like, I don't feel that poopy. I've had a migraine since Sunday. It's subsided a ton today, so that's positive, but that's about it. But I just didn't have, I guess, from working like crazy and now to not having to work like crazy, I guess I'm just sort of, I'm drained. There's no other way to put it besides I'm drained. I am glad my husband had to go back to work so that way we don't have to continue going down there every day and working for over 12 hours down there to try and keep everything moving and moving and moving. I will say that, let's jump over to the house. Enough of me complaining. The house we're working on for my mother-in-law. So, where have we gotten since I last talked to you guys? We got, most of the roof put on. We had one good day and that was this Sunday, where Mother Nature had decided not to continue to dump buckets on us of rain. And it made it so that way we could pull off the tarp, because beforehand it was like you'd get maybe 3 hours in before the rain was coming, and you would have had to put the tarp back on and protect the roof. And because of the way the tarp was put on and no water was getting inside the home, we didn't want to disturb that tarp unless we could get a decent amount of time to continue doing with that roof, because we still had a little wee tiny bit to strip off on the other side, replace all the rotten boards or broken boards, and then do the felt paper, do the ice and water shield, and start shingling the other side. And we knew 3 to 4 hours was not enough time for us to really make a dent in anything, because there were a lot of boards or sheeting, if you want to call it sheeting, that needed replaced on that roof because of, I mean, we are not even sure when the last time that roof was stripped, and it's probably was a very, very long time ago, and a lot of that stuff was in bad condition, so we had to fix it, and we did fix it, but it took, I want to say, probably about 4.5 to 5 hours just replacing boards or sheeting on the roof, just to get it ready to have the felt paper, the drip edge put on, the felt paper put on, the ice and water shield, then the starters, and then the shingles, and so on and so forth. And I mean, it took a while, but we did get it, most of it done. Now there's just about 4 rows left to the peak to get done, and the roof is shingled. And I just looked at my husband. I said, we've been doing this for a week and a half, and it's not a very large house, and we can't get the dang roof on the damn thing. And he's like, well, we can't help Mother Nature. If Mother Nature would have worked with us, like, we could have had this thing done in 3 days max. But we were only able to work on it here and there when we could, so you just do what you gotta do. So instead we went inside and We have the entire house wired except for the dining room and the living room. And then we will be going, whenever we can get back down there, as long as it's not raining, we will be on that roof and getting that roof completed. If it's raining, we'll be inside finishing up that. And then our electrician comes, plugs all of the wires into the fuse box. I forget what that gets called right now, but that's pretty much what it's called. We'll plug all those in, calls the inspector out. The inspector comes and inspects it, and they'll come and inspect it, and then we can finally call the electric company and have the electricity turn. Well, no, because we got to hook up all the outlets and everything else. But soon we'll be able to call and finally, for the first time since we've owned it, have electricity turned on to that house. Which will be kind of neat because we've been using a generator for power over there for right now. And it works. Cammy and Theo went to their groomer Friday and got all bathed up. They're going to be very mad at me tomorrow because it's time to go to the vet. I think both of them last year had their 3-year rabies shot, so they don't need that. But there's a couple more vaccines they have to get tomorrow. They'll have to get like their kennel cough shot. There's another one they have to get. There's a few things that they have to get, and I can't remember what the heck it's called. But they'll get like their Lyme's disease shot to protect them from that. And then there's, it has like parvo and a couple other things in it, though. They will be getting that. Protect them from that. All the fun stuff. And they will not be very happy with me. Especially Theodore. He refused to eat his breakfast this morning, which is odd because he's a chunky monkey. He is my I see it, I eat it dog, and he refused to eat this morning. So it makes me wonder what in the world is going on with that one. But I've made it to Magnifica's, and then I'm trying to figure out, what do you think? Do I do this? I'll finish out Magnifica's, which I'm on. I got how many more rows? 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows of numbers for Magnifica's. And then I still need to do the pebble beads. I believe it's pony beads that are size 6 or size 8, I believe. And then there's bugle beads, the small, medium, and the large. I think it's, 6 millimeters. I think it's 6 millimeters, 9 millimeters, 9 millimeters. And I think it's 15 millimeters. I can't remember. But the small, medium, large bugle beads. And I'm trying to decide. I think I'll go with the, like I said, pebble beads. And then the pony beads size 6. Then pony beads size 8. And then at the bottom, I think I'll do the bugle beads, so that way it's kind of like, because I started with the petite beads and essentially did like all the petite beads and then the seed beads, and then these are Magnifica, so that way we get like the round shaped ones instead of the bugle beads that are shaped like a stick. I don't know how else to put it besides a stick. What in the world is this camera doing? Why is it jumping all over the place? Now I'm going to have to figure out why that's doing that. I don't like that. Which means something's on that I'm going to have to turn off. Grr. We will see. My nails are all scuffed up and crazy from working like crazy, so please don't be mad that my nails are gross. Alright, there's no 56. It goes straight to 55. I believe that is correct. My husband will actually be home in a half an hour, which means I can sit here and do this for approximately another 15 minutes before I'm gonna have to get off here and go and cook dinner, so that way dinner is done for him when he comes home. And today is Tuesday, so we don't have to go to the chiropractor today. I guess I'll have to do the little bit of cleanup that I need to do. There's not much. Although I know my children, they went out there and made lunch and they didn't clean up after themselves. Oh, that's another thing. I believe it's next week. My children go back to school. And as much as I love having them home and I love spending time with them and things like that, I'm ready. I'm ready for them to go back so that way I can clean my house once and not have to worry about it. Clean it once in the morning and then I will be able to do a happy dance, because right now I have to clean it a good wow, no, I take that back. When they go to school, I clean my house twice a day, because I'll do it first thing as soon as I get everybody off to school. I will clean my house, right? And then I just clean up after myself all day, you know, nothing like spectacular, you know. If I make a sandwich and get crumbs on the counter or whatever, you know, I just, you know, use my hand and wipe the crumbs into my hand and put them in the garbage and, you know, keep the house pretty tidy that way. But with all the children running around, they don't do that. So with the children home, I probably clean the house, I want to say at least 4 times, because I'll go out, I'll get up in the morning and I get up before everybody else and I go out to that kitchen and I clean it, and then I pick up everything else and get things vacuumed and swept, and it's done. And then all my children will wake up and then they'll go out there and they'll eat breakfast, and then after they're done eating breakfast, I have to go out there and I have to clean that up. Sometimes they don't put stuff away like they're supposed to, so I like to make sure that everything's where it goes. So then I have to get up and I have to do that, and usually they've gotten crumbs on the floor, so usually I have to sweep that floor yet again. And then after that, then I get to hang out for a bit before lunchtime comes, and they'll make another mess in that kitchen and I will have to clean that up. I usually clean that up like I'll be cooking dinner and I'll clean the kitchen at the same time, because they'll come out down throughout the rest of the day and like grab small little things to snack on and things like that. So usually, like, while I am cooking dinner, like, I wipe off the table, I sweep the floor again, and that way, like, my husband comes home and the house is clean. And then before I go to bed, I try to pick up things and stuff like that. But of course my children go to bed after I do, so throughout the night they're out there making some sort of a mess. I mean, it's not like they're leaving like it's honestly, it's crumbs. You know, like if they make a bowl of cereal or whatever, like they put the bowl and the cereal and the spoon and stuff like that where it goes. But it's like any cereal that didn't, you know, exactly make it into the bowl stays on the counter. They don't think to clean that up for some reason. I guess they think a magic fairy comes by and cleans it up, I suppose. I'm not sure. But that's usually what happens. Oh, sorry guys, I really whacked you. I punched you without even trying to punch you. I've just been exhausted. But I haven't got the pizza at that plexiglass for that frame yet. And I haven't even finished friggin' pinning the darn things. I haven't laced the back of it. I don't have energy to do anything. And part of it's because I had a migraine for 2 days straight in gosh darn row. And I know better than to do something that's pretty taxing after I have my migraines, or it's like, I don't know, something and my body is just like, hey, let's make this, you know, let's give her back the migraine, because that's a great idea. Let me fix this camera again. There you go. But that's what it does. It's just like, hey, let me do this. So this week's video is not going to be as long as I want it to be, because most of you guys said that, you know, you guys preferred about in between the 40 to an hour or even longer than that. But I just don't have the energy this week, and I feel bad. I feel like I'm letting you guys down. But I also know that I need to take care of myself. And if I don't, I am going to crash and burn at some point. And nobody wants that either. So just trying to make sure that I take care of myself. I figured I will give you guys something to watch. Something is better than nothing. Even if I don't have a whole lot to talk about. You know, I always forget that those things slide back up there like that. And I bet you it's probably pretty loud in you guys' ears. Whoops. I don't really think about that kind of stuff. Huh. It's just been a day. Part of my problem is I can't get comfortable at night for, like, sleeping. I get a lot of hot flashes and things like that at night. And I should probably double check and make sure none of these other ones are missing, and that's not. 1, 2. And I'll have our AC set in our room at a certain temperature, and it's perfect, and I will fall asleep like that. But at some point in time, in the middle of the night, I wake up just sweating buckets, and I will crank the AC up the whole way, so that way it should be like Arctic freezing in there. And it's the weirdest thing. Like, I will be cold but sweating. It's the only way I can describe it. I'll be cold, but I'll be sweating. And there's not really much I can do about it, because if I'm outside of the covers, I'm completely and utterly, like, frozen to death. But underneath the covers, I'm too hot. And there's no, like, sticking a leg out, or there's no way I can adjust anything for it to be better. And I've tried using, you know, thinner blankets and things, like just nothing's working. I've tried everything to try and get it to that way. I think it's just, they told me after I had the hysterectomy that to expect starting to have symptoms and things of surgical menopause essentially long before I needed to. And it's been, I had those surgeries in, this is 2023, so 2021 was whenever I had the surgeries. So it'll be 2 years in November that I had my full hysterectomy. I was able to keep my ovaries, so it's not going to throw me into full menopause. I'll be perimenopausal because I have hormone issues. I've had hormone issues since the hysterectomy. They're, I guess, just not producing correctly, and I guess for some people that can happen. So I will hit sorry, I stutter sometime. I can't. Let's try that again. Menopause. Earlier than had I had all of my parts still. But I don't know. It's just kind of, part of me is like, all right, well, you're a lot younger, so it's probably easier than somebody else going through it. Grandma Joanne doesn't really know because she was in, was she in her early 40s or mid 40s? It's early to mid 40s when she had to have a total hysterectomy and they had to take her ovaries and everything. And so she was on the younger side going through menopause too. And she said it wasn't that bad. And I guess, I mean, other than like the brain fog, like that's absolutely horrible. I cannot stand not being able to like remember things. That is annoying. But she said it wasn't that bad, and I'm just like, if I could just get a good, like, I am somebody, I am a morning person. I get up early. I'm not a night person. I go to sleep in between 9 and 10 o'clock, sometimes in between 8:30 and 10 o'clock at the latest, to be honest. And that's that. But I usually get up in between 7 and 8 o'clock, no matter what. But I've always struggled with sleeping all. This is supposed to be a 5, Brittany. Oh my god. I've always struggled. I don't have a hard time going to sleep. I have a hard time staying asleep. I will wake up multiple times throughout the night. So I don't get a very good and restful sleep, is what my problem is. Because like whenever I get up, it'll take me a good hour and a half before I fall back to sleep. And I will wake up at least twice in a night. But more often than not, it's usually 3 times throughout the night that I will wake up. And my sleep tracker and everything says that I get about 6.5 hours of sleep a night. And I think it's just because I do go to bed. Like I said, anywhere from 8:30 to 10 o'clock, I am out. And even though, like, it's a long period of time because I'm waking up at night, I don't get as much sleep as one would hope. And then it also doesn't help that my husband is the, like, I mean, if there was an Olympic sport for freaking snoring, he should be in it. He totally should be in an Olympic sport for freaking snoring. That man, oh my God. Like, there's no quiet, peaceful, like, snoring that's just, you know, a light snore. No, 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 no. His is like, I always ask him in the morning, like, what forest were you chopping down? Because you had your chainsaw, like, revved on high all night. What forest were you chopping down? And he'll laugh at me, and I'm just like, man, if I could just, and like, he will wake me up out of a dead sleep with how loud he snores sometimes. God love him, though. Although I did joke with him the other day, I don't know what happened, but he was tossing and turning all night, and kind of, he doesn't, like, intentionally do it or anything. Like, he's sleeping. He doesn't know that he's doing it. But he was, like, shoving me out of the bed and just flopping around like crazy and snoring like crazy. And, oh, it was just obnoxious. And usually when that happens, like, either his legs are tingly from his degenerative disc disease and spinal stenosis, or his back is in a lot of pain. So he's like, but he's asleep, but he doesn't realize what he's doing. But it's not exactly, it's not his fault that he's doing those sort of things, but he pretty much just, like, shoves me out of bed. And I love him dearly, but I was ready to give him a hug with a pillow to the face, essentially. And I literally may have got like 2 hours of sleep that night between my body waking up and my husband shoving me. And he woke up in the morning and I was like, that's it. We are getting a bedroom divorce. And he was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean a bedroom divorce? We're not getting a divorce. And I meant, no, like, just, like, we need separate rooms. Like, I cannot sleep with you anymore. And he was just like, absolutely not. We are not going to have what you call a bedroom divorce. We are married. We have always slept in the same bed. It's going to happen. And I was like, dude, I'm going to start recording you snoring. And then I'm going to turn on a stereo next to your head as loud as I can get this sucker at some point in time and play it for you in the middle of the night so you know what it's like trying to sleep next to that. And he just kind of laughed, but of course, right now, until we have more children move out of the house, there isn't an extra bedroom to spare. So until that day, but I'm serious though, the moment that we have an extra bedroom that I can sink and sleep in, I'm going to. He can have the bed. That's fine. I don't care. I just want to be able to sleep without feeling exhausted and tired the next day. He doesn't like the idea at all. But I told him, like, if I don't start getting rest, like, a monster is going to climb out of me and eat you alive, dude. I am not somebody who, I don't deal well with being tired. I will admit it whenever I am tired. I am crabby. I am cranky. And, oh, I am like a little 2-year-old that needs a nap. There's no other way to put it. I'm not a happy camper. When I am tired, I need to go, and I need to go and sleep now. So, that is that. I think he'll see that, you know, once we sleep and get separate bedrooms, like, actually, he'll be able to spread out and get more comfortable. And I mean, it's going to take us a while to get used to, too, though, because we've slept in the same bed for how many stinking years? But I feel like once I get used to it, it's going to be absolutely glorious that I'll be able to go to sleep and I won't have him wake me up once. Because there are times where I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm giving him the stink eye and he doesn't even know it. He has no clue. None. Sometimes I feel like he needs a hug with a pillow. Not that I would ever do that, but can't say when you're tired and exhausted that that stuff doesn't cross your mind every once in a while. Not that you'd actually do it, but you get what I mean. Alright, gonna finish this last number here, and then I'm gonna have to call it because I need to get up. I need to start cooking dinner so I can feed all my peoples. So thanks for watching, guys. I will do my best to get this thing edited and rendered and uploaded to YouTube tonight, so that way it will come up out at the correct time tomorrow, and hopefully this week I can get the plexiglass for this frame and finish getting this piece mounted, and maybe next week I will have a how I frame my pieces video. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.